Good morning and welcome to another video here on my channel. As you know, I do craft fairs, so where I go and sell all my crocheted headbands, beanies, etc. You can go and watch that playlist of all the craft fair vlogs. I'll put that in the description box below. But since I do all of those vlogs, one has to wonder, what do you need at a craft fair? Well, to find out, just stay tuned and keep on watching. Before I forget, be sure and give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so you'll never miss any more craft fair related videos on my channel. And be sure and turn on that bell icon so that way you'll get notified when I do post a new video. So, without further ado, let's get on with the video. The first thing is, say that your booth is going to be outside. Well, of course, you need to have a great tent for the outdoor event. It is an absolute must if you're going to be outdoors, because that way it keeps all of your items looking classy, uniform, professional, and well maintained. Since we're on the page of being outside, if you're like me and you burn easily, it is strongly recommended that you bring some sunscreen as well. The next item that you must have are shopping bags, because that way it is much easier on the customers when they purchase an item. In other words, it makes it easier on them while they're still shopping. That way they don't have to carry it in their arms while they're still shopping. They have a bag. They have a bag for them to put all the items in there. That way they can just carry it by the handle. And the size, it really just depends on what you sell. If you sell, like me, since I sell just headbands, pins, beanies, I don't need that big of a bag. The bags that I use are kind of medium sized. So for example, if you're going to sell jewelry, then the smaller bags are the best fit. But if you're going to sell bigger items, then you're going to need bigger bags. The third item that you would need is a convenient hand truck or a dolly. This is a definite must, especially if you'll be hauling all of your stuff to and from your vehicle to the craft show. That way you can put all of your stuff on the dolly and you can just drag it. That way you wouldn't have to keep making several trips back and forth from your booth to your car. The next item, this one is mandatory. You need plenty of cash in order to make change. So for me, I always start out with at least $50 in cash, and at least $30 of it is all in ones. So what I do is I just get fives and ones. $30 of it in ones, and then the other 20 in fives. Or this last craft fair that I did $15 in fives and then the other $35 all in ones. There's a lot of people that are going to pay with big bills, so I need a lot of ones on me. And since we're on the same subject of money, I recommend that you get a PayPal account as well. I used to not have one, but then I just got one recently, and it helps a lot, especially when customers don't have cash or they don't have a check, but they have a debit card. That way, if you have a PayPal account, well, they can just send you the money through the PayPal account. And still on that same subject, you definitely need a cash box and or a vendor apron. A vendor apron is just an apron that just ties around you, and it has multiple pockets in it where you can keep a handful of business cards and some cash to make easier exchanges with purchases. That way you don't have to get down to your cash box to open the money. You could just have money in your pockets and make easy transfers. And if you were to walk around and see what other people have and somebody's interested in your stuff and they want to talk to you, you'll have your business cards in your apron. You can just whip one right out. And with the cash box, you need it in order to keep all of your change stored in a safe and secure place. That way, if you say that you don't have a vendor apron but you need to go somewhere, well, you need a cash box. You need to put all your money in there, and it usually comes with a key, and that way you can lock it. That way nobody will come by and just randomly take your money. So the next thing that you will need are price stickers. So that way you can make sure all your items have a price listed for when the customers ask you about it. Or you can do what I do, and I go into Google Docs and I type in everything that I sell and then the price. And I just stick it in a picture frame and then just kind of display it on the table. Because for me, that is much easier. And when customers are trying to look for the price, they usually just look at that little picture frame that I have. You can either do that, or you can get these price stickers at Walmart or the dollar store that you usually use for a garage or yard sale. The next thing is, of course, you're gonna need business cards. I mean, you want to keep your customers in contact with you and your business in case they request to make an order later in the future. If you have a customer that wants an order, if you give them your business card, they have your contact information, and all they have to do is just pick up the phone, call your number, text you, or even email you, or they can go onto your website. It makes it much easier to stay in contact with your customers. The next thing you're going to need is, of course, either a phone charger or a wireless pad, because you want to keep your battery full. When you're not have customers, of course you're going to be on your phone, and if you're like me, you're also going to be on your phone to promote your business, saying, "Hey, come see me at the craft show," whatever. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is definitely a tablecloth, because you want to have your products displayed professionally, and you want to keep them clean. And besides, venue provides tables. You never know if they are fully clean. Next thing you're going to need is trash bags, because you want to keep your booth completely clean, because there's not always going to be a trash can, trust me. And you're going to have trash. You don't want to have like a pile of it down in the floor or anything, because definitely have some trash bags so that way you can throw all your trash away and keep it clean. You're going to be having snacks and plenty of water, because you need to stay hydrated. You're going to be there. You're going to be running your booth for most of the day. You're going to get hungry and you're going to get thirsty. You need to keep food in your body, and you need to stay hydrated. That way you can keep yourself strong and healthy throughout the whole day. The next thing you're going to need is, of course, the products you're going to sell, because you can't go to the craft fair and not have your products. The next thing is a calculator. You want to make sure that you're charging the right prices for the customer's items, and you want to make sure that you give them the correct amount of change back if they pay with cash. Which leads to the next thing is you're going to need a receipt book. This just shows that you have proof that you sold an item and that you are not short on money. Not only for your preference, but for the customer's preference. And it's just a way for you to keep track of all your inventory to see what all you have sold at the end of the day. Tables and chairs. Usually the place provides them, but it's best to keep those items in mind just to be safe. I know at all the craft fairs I've done, the venue has provided tables each time, but they have never provided chairs. The next thing is, of course, Decorations! Because you want your booth to look attractive. You want it to look professional to the customers, to the public. You want it to look attractive so that way your booth is the #1 interesting one there is. The next thing you're going to need is a friend. Because that way they can help you set up, they can help you clean up, and come on, you're going to be there all day. You're going to want to have somebody to keep you company so you're not alone. And that way you will also have somebody to run any necessary errands for you, as you won't be able to leave your booth unattended. And these are just some minor items. They're not really required, but they're recommended. There's a banner. Decorations, of course. Displays and setup materials. You need ways to set up your products. A mirror and weights. For the mirror, if you're like me and you sell headbands and beanies, well, the customer's going to want to see how it looks on them. So, of course, you're going to need a mirror for them to be able to see how it looks. Other supplies which will help you in setting up: Scotch tape, packaging tape, double-sided tape, scissors, pins, twine, clothespins or clips. That way, of course, you're going to need all that, and that will help you set up and get your booth ready to go. A cooler with drinks and snacks, which I just talked about earlier. Wet wipes, sanitizer, Kleenex. You're going to want to stay healthy. You want to stay clean. You don't want to get sick. A notepad and pen to the custom order forms. That way, if a customer wants to make an order, well, you can just hand them one of these custom order forms and they can fill out the order that they would like. Sharpies, and this one is a must. Definitely think about getting a counterfeit checker pen. And if you don't know what that is, it is a pen where you can check to make sure that the cash that your customer gives you is good. This is the pen that I have. I mark it. If that mark turns kind of yellowish, then it's good. If it turns brown, it's counterfeit. So I'd really strongly recommend you getting a counterfeit pen. Of course, your cell phone. And the last thing, this goes for if you're being outside, definitely get some bug spray too. Anyway, that is all of the necessities for a craft show. You don't need everything that I've mentioned. This is just from my experience, my preference. This is all items that I suggest. You don't have to use everything. You can use some of it, or you can not use any of it. These are just items that I use every time I go to a craft show. So, thank you so much for watching. Again, give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button so you'll never miss any more of my videos. I will see you guys next time. Bye!